Good evening, everybody. This is the first night of the Web Developer Program Orientation class. This is a one-credit class that's required in your Web Developer degree program. The goal of the class is really to get you geared up for being successful in our program. There's not any coding that you do in this class. If you're expecting to come in here and learn like HTML or anything like that, that's not what this class is about. This class is about what you see in the course description and competencies listed here. These are the same ones that you're going to find in your syllabus. So if you come into the course, you'll land on this page, but I'm going to immediately direct you over to the Start Here section, and that's on the left-hand side menu. And I just have a little introduction here telling you a little bit about myself. I'm not going to read that to you. You can read it yourself. But I have a pretty extensive background in IT. I've been working in IT for well over about 25 years now, since I graduated school way back then. And I've done a lot of different things. I've run my own companies. I've done consulting, web design, network infrastructure, IT support. I've kind of run the gambit of a lot of different things. And over time, I started to teach because I was asked to do it, and then I found that I liked it. And about 15 years later now, I'm a full-time teacher here at Gateway. Gateway is a great place to go to school if you haven't discovered that already. A lot of people think that tech schools have a little bit of a stigma as not being as good as four-year institutions, but when it comes to learning technical skills, we blow four-year schools out of the water. We have much more qualified people coming out of our programs than people coming out of 4 years that do a lot of theory and then have to take English lit and then don't know how to wire a network or write a piece of code to actually do something. We believe very strongly in getting you to code quite a bit. Tony and Julianne were in class with me last semester, and we did quite a bit of coding in class, and more so as you progress through the program. All right, let's scroll down here and take a look at some of the other things I have in here. In fact, I'm probably going to talk about most of these topics here in the syllabus, but after you visit this Start Here page, I have a little list of tasks you need to accomplish before you really dig into the coursework. The one thing is you need to read the syllabus and then acknowledge that you received it. That's just kind of a legal formality for all of us, just so that you agree that, hey, I'm a student, yeah, I'll do that stuff. And then I also have a little discussion board where you're going to introduce yourself, right? Two very simple little activities. And I would recommend that those here in class, you do it right now as you're sitting here, wait till later. But I do want to go step by step through that syllabus so you understand all the ramifications, especially if you're new to the program and if you're new to me as a teacher. All right, so let's go ahead and go back up to the top of the page. Left-hand side menu, you'll see there's a link to the syllabus. Oh, very good question. Okay, one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom in a little bit before I open the document. I'll probably have to zoom in again. This is our syllabus. It is basically an informal contract between Gateway, myself as the instructor, and you as students. Basically a guideline of what we're doing and how we're going to do it. My first name is Takis. All right, if you guys want to know how to say it properly in Greek. Everybody here calls me Ty, so if you walk around saying Takis, some people might go, who's that? But that's what I prefer that you call me. First name basis is absolutely fine. If you feel more comfortable calling me Mr. Kinnis, that's on you. All right. You guys know where to find me. I'm in the classroom right now. Technically, our offices are at the end of the hall, kind of by that new entryway where it's kind of like semicircle computer area. There's a doorway right there, but we as faculty don't have access to it yet. In my old office, everything's still packed up into boxes. So I don't really technically have an office. So when we look at doing office hours, and if you need to see me here on campus, until they get that situated, the best place you guys are going to find me is in the classroom before class. My plan is to be here at least a half hour prior to class start. Doesn't always work out that way, especially in the wintertime like it is now, where we might have snow, ice, etc. You guys, if you need to get a hold of me, my contact information, phone number and email are listed here. You can always email me through the course shell as well. There's a little email link on the left-hand side that you can click on, and it'll go directly to me. If you are in your regular email system and you hit compose and you start typing my last name, I should pop up in the directory. Gateway should be able to pull it up. If not, just refer back to the syllabus to get it, and once you have sent me a message or two, it'll be kind of lodged into your Gmail account. Another way that we can always get together and communicate is using some of these collaborative technologies. Some of you may have used these before, others perhaps not. But we have a number of different tools that we have available. One is called Blackboard Collaborate. It's an interactive meeting environment that's built right into our course. I've been experimenting with it a lot the last semester, and it works pretty well. So we might use that in the classroom or for outside meetings, but my de facto tool has been Google Hangouts for quite a long time. And I use that primarily to be able to share screens with people. So like if you called and you had like a code problem and you wanted me to help coach you through it, I can connect to you via Google Hangouts, and then I can have you share your screen, and I can tell you, oh no, click on that, go there, do this, oh I see what's wrong, that kind of thing. And it's a lot easier than driving an hour coming to class and going through that whole rigmarole. And it's a little weird at first if you've never done any sort of video conferencing, because your face will pop up on the screen. But you can always turn the camera off. I always tell people that. You don't have to, it's weird to look at yourself, because when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're used to seeing yourself one way. But the truth is, everybody sees a flip image of that. When you see that flip image coming to your screen, you're like, that's me? That's not right. But once you get past the fact that you're working with this kind of technology, the truth is it becomes very transparent as a telephone. So if you ever are in that situation where you need help remotely, or just even want to contact me, I have people that will contact me through Google Hangouts before email or phone calls. And video call, Once in a while they're surprised. Hey, you're driving. Yeah, probably not a good time to talk video, but that's just the capability that's there. So you can use it on a lot of different platforms, and it works quite well. The different courses that or course section numbers that we're working with are listed here. This class is both offered online and face-to-face. And technically the face-to-face is what we call blended. Really, this would be a 4-hour class if it was completely face-to-face. Oh wait, this one is completely face-to-face, right? Okay, this class isn't blended. Strike that last comment. It's some of my regular web classes that aren't. You guys get the full 4 hours, which, lucky for you, you get that. But we have an online section that matches this one, where the people are not coming to class. And as I was telling you guys earlier, for every open seat that we have here in the classroom, there is a person online filling that seat. And this class is full. So I offer to the online students at any time that they can feel free to join us remotely. So if they want to sit at home and connect through Google Hangouts or Collaborate and basically watch my screen and listen to my voice as we're doing the class, you're welcome to. And if you guys are ever sick or stuck or any one of those kind of situations, you're welcome to do the same thing. So you really don't have to miss class. That's pretty important. The other safety net that I have in that capacity is the fact that I'm doing videos like the one I'm doing now. I try to record them for every significant lecture portion of class that I can. There are exceptions, but typically when I do record these videos, I'll release them the following day. And as of last semester, all of them are getting closed captioned as well. So if you have a hearing difficulty of any sort, what I do is I render them and I push them up to YouTube, and then YouTube automatically close captions everything. Nope, all good. One of our techs was asking if I could log into the system. We're in this new building here, and not everything is working quite right. All right, so let's get down to some of the more important stuff in the syllabus. Here's our days and time. So we run from 5:30 to 9:30 Tuesday evenings. My plan is to pretty fully utilize all 4 hours. Sometimes we go faster. Sometimes it seems like it's not enough time. You know, and I will be taking breaks during the middle of class. My habit is I will probably take 3 breaks, usually around the top of the hour, or I guess in this case it'll be the bottom of the hour. So, you know, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 would be my targets. The class ends at the end of January, not at the end of April. This is not a 15-week class. This is a 4-week class. And this class is bundled with the Web Programming 1 class. So if you are taking that class also, the design is that you're brand new to the web program. You take the web program orientation in this time slot, and then after this one ends, you just continue on with Web Programming 1. If you're not doing that, I would encourage you to do that because that class hasn't started yet, so you still have a few weeks to register for it if you want. And I'm teaching that one as well, and it should be here in the same classroom if I'm not mistaken. The financial aid census date, if you've never been exposed to that before, that's basically the date by which you need to show up, otherwise we can basically say goodbye. And all of you have already passed that hurdle, obviously, that are listening to this or are here in the classroom. If you want to voluntarily drop without losing any of your money, you have basically till the end of this week, I think is how it works. After that point, if I see that you're not showing up, like if you miss 2 classes out of a total of 4, I have the right as the instructor to drop you as well. I've never had to exercise that option, so I hope this is no exception here. Because it's a short class, we do not have a midterm, and you can withdraw up until a few days before the class ends, so about basically the week before, because class ends on the 31st of January. They have a lot of information in the student handbook that you should check out. Hopefully you guys have a copy. If not, you can follow this link here in the syllabus or go to the class website or the school website and find it. All right, so let's take a look at the course description really quick. As I mentioned earlier, basically what we're trying to do here is to make sure that you are getting the most out of this program. When you're thrown into these courses, and let's say you're thrown right into a coding class and you haven't done a class like this, you might get lost pretty quickly because I kind of expect that you're on board with Blackboard and how all the tools work, and that's part of what we wrestle through here. So if you're like confused about anything gateway related or any of the technologies we use, this is a great class to try to work that out. Get used to how we do things. A lot of the things that we're going to look at kind of look long term for your academic career. I mean, the truth is, why are you guys here, right? I like computers. I mean, that might be it. Or I'm looking to retool my career. Or I want a job. My mom said I have to go to school or get out of the house. It might be one of those things, and all those are respectable things. But you guys really are making a great choice being in this program because the employment prospects right now for people that are in web development and software development are huge. And the opportunities are huge because there are more positions and there are qualified people to fill them. Qualified is the key phrase there. So you need to learn the skills in order for somebody to want to hire you. And that's what we're here for. And then also kind of to get you ready to think about what you're doing in the program and what you're going to do when you're done in the program. This is the beginning of the program. Right now I'm teaching a group of students out in Burlington that are at the tail end of their program, and we're doing kind of like the converse of this class where we're getting their portfolios ready, we're getting their resumes and cover letters and practicing interviews and getting them in that mindset of looking for work. In fact, I got a couple people that have already been applying for jobs about 3 months before graduating. So my hope is that they have a full-time position waiting for them when they leave. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for you guys. If you guys can stick with the program, go all the way through, there's no reason why you can't have that kind of success. Our textbook is this Essential Study Skills book. Did anybody manage to pick it up? Okay, good. You'll want to get a copy of that. We do have some assignments that work off of the readings directly. If for some reason you don't have a copy of it, let me know and I can at least get you what the assignment is so you can work off of it. But it is a required text. Last time I went to the bookstore, they did have used copies, and I would encourage you to get a used one. I'm not sure if this is one you'll want to keep on your shelf forever. Usually, if it's a programming book and you spend a couple $100 on it, I usually say keep it, because that's the kind of book you keep. I'm not sure if this one falls into that category. You don't really need any special materials or equipment for this, just basically a computer where you can get on the internet, you can do everything you need to do. And I say a modern computer, if you're running Windows 98, we should talk, basically. I don't think any of you are doing that. The way I set up the grading in my classes, and those of you that have had me before know that I work on a 100-point system. What that means is that every point on an assignment is worth 1% of your grade. So if I were to give you an assignment that's worth 5 points, that's 5% of your grade. So let's say you opted not to do that assignment, but you got a perfect score on everything else, you'd be sitting at a 95. You'd still get an A, right? So when you look at the assignments, you see there's like a 1-point assignment, or a 2-point, or a 3-point, or a 5, or in some cases 10-point assignments. You'll know exactly what kind of impact they have on your score. Like that scoring system, I think it's very simple. And knowing that every point converts to a percentage, I think helps. And then you can actually keep track of the points that you've earned and where that puts you in our grading scale. So in other words, if you earned 74 points for the whole class, you're going to get a C. That's how it works. If you guys are on the cusp of moving up to the next grade, usually the way I'll do it is, let's say you're sitting at a 79.3. Where do you think I would put you? I'd probably leave you at a C+. But if you're 79.5, I'd probably push you up to a B-, right? But there's a judgment call that goes in. There are the grades that you earn, but there's a judgment call that goes in, so I reserve the right to make that judgment call. But generally speaking, the points you earn is the grade you're going to get. And if you're not aware of this little policy here, you need to be. In the IT programs, in order to have one of your program courses count towards your degree, you do need to earn a C or better in that course. So if you take this course and you get a C-, guess what? You got to take it again. So you don't want to be in that situation. If you think you're going to be in a situation where you might not be able to get some stuff done or you're running late, just contact me. I understand stuff happens in people's lives. We have difficulties, jobs, children, homes, illnesses, situations happen. The key is communication, folks. Just let me know what's going on, and we can always find a way to work it out. If you do turn in your work late, there will be a point penalty for it. Now, most of the due dates you're going to see are usually listed for midnight. So, for example, if I say something's due, Friday the 13th, right? You usually will say 11:59 p.m. But if you were to turn something in at 12:05, I'm not going to give you a late penalty, right? Because I always tell people I'm not going to rush home and wait till 12:01 a.m. and get ready to start grading your work. I mean, that's just not the reality of it. But if it's like a day late or several days late or a week late, you can count on losing some points. In a short class like this, if something is a week late, I consider that super late. That wouldn't be the case necessarily for a regular class, but 4 weeks goes fast, right? So anything longer than a week, you're going to start getting significant point reductions. I will still take work even up to the very last moment if you're okay understanding the fact that you're not going to get all the points no matter how perfect it is, right? And I get those people that decide the very last day of the semester, oh, I'm going to turn in all this stuff. How come I didn't pass? Well, you only got 50% on everything. That's not going to get you a C. So don't be late. If you are having issues, contact me. Simple. I also have this silly little get out of homework free coupon. Good for one assignment, right? So I allow this to be worth up to a total of 2 points. So if you have an assignment that's worth 2 points and you're like, this one's really hard, I don't get it, or I ran out of time because I had to work an extra shift or something like that, you might choose to throw this coupon at that assignment, not lose the 2 points, and then put your efforts into something else. That's absolutely fine. But you can only use it once, and you have to ask for it. There's instructions right inside the coupon on how to submit it. You can't just send me an email saying I want to use my coupon. You basically have to screenshot this and upload it to Blackboard in place of the assignment so that when I'm grading, I know that you're using it. I won't apply it automatically. So if you forget to do something at the end of the semester, I'm not going to go, well, Joe forgot to use his coupon, so I'm going to just put it in there for him. I won't do that. You have to know to ask. This is your fair warning. As we get close to the end of the semester, I might remind you, especially if you're like, this assignment's really hard. I'm like, you can always put your coupon on it. But you're going to see none of the assignments in this class are actually particularly hard. Now, if you get into the situation that, and this has actually happened a little bit more last semester than it has in a while, I had a couple of ladies that got sick, different classes, different situations, right as the semester's ending. One was complications from pregnancy, right? Both were really good students, doing great work, but they just couldn't finish up the stuff because one of them was in the hospital and the other one was caring for an infant in a challenging situation. So I offered them an incomplete. But the catch is, if you read there, it says 80% of your coursework has to be complete with a passing grade. And you have to have some sort of a significant extenuating circumstance. So not like, well, I just didn't feel like doing it. Because I do actually get people that will point blank tell me that. I was really busy playing video games and I didn't do my schoolwork. Can I get an incomplete? Right. What the audacity, right? But people have that audacity. But that's a lot different than like, I'm caring for this infant that is in a severe situation, right? And I need the time to do that. Can you give me a couple extra weeks or something like that? And what will happen is if you're granted the incomplete, we'll set a timetable for you to finish the work, and then we'll put that in, calculate your grade, and you'll get your regular grade, and it won't throw you off course. The only problem you might run into with that situation is that you might take a class that you need to pass in order to take the class that follows, if it's a prereq. That can mess you up. So my usual thing, with people in this program is if we do it incomplete, I encourage them to try to get it done within a couple of weeks so they can register and stay on track, especially if you're going to school full-time. Not everybody at a technical college goes to school full-time. In fact, the converse is true. There's usually very few people that are just traditional full-time students. A lot of people are working, so it often takes longer than 4 semesters to pass. But if you were full-time and you're totally nose to the grindstone, take all the classes the way they're listed in the program sheet, you can finish in 4 semesters. We do 3 semesters a year, summers included. We do not take summers off in the web program. Okay, I'm looking at you guys. So don't think you got summer vacation. We have a regular full-length semester in the summer, and because of that, if you can finish, let's say you start, well, you guys are starting out in the winter, right? So winter, summer, fall, winter, hypothetically, in a year and a half, you can have your degree. So, a lot of people don't fall into that category because they don't have the time to take like 5 or 6 classes all at once. So it might stretch out a little bit further. But it's very possible to get it done that quickly. I've had a few people last semester that did it just that fast, and now they moved their degree over to Parkside and are continuing for their bachelor's. So a year and a half and then off to Parkside, saving a boatload of money in the process. The other thing you should know about the web program is that we have certain courses that are only offered certain semesters, right? So for example, when you get to the summer semester, one of the classes that we only offer in the summertime is called Graphics Programming with Dynamic Elements. It's basically our jQuery JavaScript class, and that's only offered during the summer. So if you skip it in the sequence, you're going to have to wait a whole another year to come back to it. Now, what I always do in my classes is, as we near the end of a semester, I start encouraging people to register for the next one, and I'll point out which classes are like that so you don't miss them. Because, I've had a couple people, they're all done, they got to wait a whole year to take one class to get their degree and walk across the stage and get their diploma. Don't be in that situation. Talk to your advisor, talk to your instructors. We can help guide you. All right. Participation, please show up. Don't fall asleep. Talk to me once in a while. Pretend like you're interested. I really don't need to lecture you guys on that, do I? You guys know how to participate. A class like this one, this isn't really, it's not a coding class. It's more of kind of like an exploration in a lot of different ways. You guys will get a lot more out of this class by being interactive, frankly. Talking, even when I'm recording. I won't hit pause. If you guys have a question right now, chances are people at home listening to the video have the same question. Probably because I didn't say it clearly. Or you need to know more. All right, let's talk about how I grade things. My general approach to this is I will give you a set of objectives for an assignment. I will say, write a paper talking about this, or answer these 5 questions. And if you do that, and you do it to the parameters that I request, successfully, you will earn all your points. It's really pretty simple as that. If it's got some issues going on, like I wanted a 2-page paper, but you gave me a half-page paper, well, that's going to cost you a little bit because you're not following the instructions. So it's always really pertinent to look really carefully at what you're being graded on. I usually give a pretty concise list of like, do this, 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 and that, turn it in like this by this date. You do all those things, there's no reason why you shouldn't get a perfect score. I get students that go through my classes that end up with more than 100% sometimes because they also do the extra credit. So that's very achievable. None of the stuff in this class in particular is difficult to achieve. No reason why all of you shouldn't come out of here with A's. Okay? Except no less in yourself, really. All right. If you do have issues with your work, I'm reading my syllabus here. I will point them out to you. So usually if you get an assignment and I just don't say anything and you got all 5 of your points out of 5, you're good. Or I might say something like, nice job, or good work. If it does have issues, that's when you'll start seeing comments with your homework. So I'm not really huge on doing a lot of commenting if your work's spot on, what's there to say. But if there's issues, I want you to know what the issues are so you can correct them. Now here's a little thing that you should know about the way I grade. If you are working on an assignment and it's, let's say, due tonight at midnight, you're not done. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to turn it in. Well, no, turn in what you have. Turn it in on time. Tell me in your comments it's incomplete. And because it was turned in on time, I will let you finish it late without losing any points. How's that for a deal? Right? Basically, the point is, I see that you're doing something. And if you're doing something, I know you're engaged, I know you're trying. And that's cool with me. I want you to be cautious, though. Not all instructors are that nice or forgiving about their grading. In fact, there's others that are like, well, it's 12 o'clock, it's at 11:59 p.m., so I'm taking half your points away. There are people like that. I'm not going to point out who they are, but I understand their grading philosophy too. That's not my approach. My approach is I want to help people, not punish people. So always make sure you know what the instructor's policies are on these types of things, and this is one of the things that you're here to learn. A good instructor will very explicitly tell you in their resume how they're going to do stuff, and they'll tell you verbally as well. Turn something in on time. I will allow you to improve it and make it right without losing any points. Keep that in mind. All of you here are already logged into Blackboard. I assume the people at home are too if they're watching this video, obviously, which means you also have your Gateway email account. The Gateway email account, as you've probably all discovered, is basically a Gmail account. We run our email infrastructure and collaboration software on the Google platform here at Gateway. And because of that, it has all the same capabilities that a regular Gmail account has, plus some things. And we're going to learn about a lot of those things here in class. But the reason I'm talking about email is you guys need to make sure that you're checking your school email, I'd say at the minimum once a day. Really, it should be multiple times a day, especially if you're taking lots of classes. And because it's a Gmail account, it's really easy to add to your devices, tablets, phones, whatever. I have a regular Gmail account on my phone, which is my primary account, that consider it my primary email account. But you can also add multiple Gmail accounts to the Gmail program on your phone. You can do, I think I have 4 or 5 on here. I have my kids on here, I have 2 of my personal ones and my school one, and they all come to this device. The other thing that you can do is you can take whatever your regular email account is and go into the Gateway email and set up forwarding so it sends to your regular email, so at least you know that you got a message. One way or the other, you need to have a way to be checking that email, because when I'm going to reach out to you guys, if I have your direct email address and I've memorized it, or I can look it up in that directory lookup like I showed you, I'll email you directly. But a lot of times if I'm going to send to the whole group, I just go into Blackboard, hit the email function, send to all students, and it'll propagate out that way. And anytime I will do an announcement in the course, I will do it in that fashion. I'll be in Blackboard and I'll hit the announcement page. And in fact, our online group, I just sent out this announcement to them. And it posts in the course shell. But more importantly, as soon as I post it, it emails out to everybody in the class. And sometimes I'll do things like, most typically, new unit posted, new videos added, or due date extended, or oh no, you guys are all in trouble. No, not really, but and you'll see I usually try to get chuckles. They usually fail miserably, but that's okay because I'm laughing at myself. All right, so these are what the announcements look like. I think we talked about a lot of this stuff. If you guys are in the situation where you have any sort of disability, and that can really encompass a lot of different things, Gateway's got what we call disability support services. They're located in all of the learning success centers at each one of the main campuses. So Racine, Kenosha, and Elkhorn have these facilities. They also have excellent tutors. In fact, most of the tutors that tutor in IT are students, either former or current students that have had probably the same classes you have with the same instructors and are really good at helping you through the homework. There's no shame in going to get help. I have people I consider A students that get stuck on stuff. They go down there, work with somebody, and it makes a world of difference. I've had people in classes, in fact, the very first class I taught here, Intro to Programming, I had an older lady. She very sincerely said, how do I right-click? Right? Now, all the younger people here are like, really? Doesn't know how to right-click? Right? Because there's a wrong click, right? Bad joke, but she sincerely didn't know how. She didn't know how to copy-paste. And here she is working in Visual Studio. I mean, talk about jumping into the deep end of the pool. If you guys have used that product, I mean, it's a programming environment that is very deep. It's not, it's not working with Notepad, Visual Studio is quite a piece of software. And what she did, per my recommendation, is she went to the Learning Success Center several times a week and worked with the tutors. They taught her how to use the technology. They helped her go through the homework and coached her, and she went from being like not knowing how to touch a computer to actually doing pretty well in the class. And I've really seen it help people pretty significantly. There's no shame in getting help. And also, if you guys do have a true disability, last semester I had my very first deaf student taking a class. And that's why I started closed captioning everything. So if you're in that situation, you talk to them and they will fill out forms that your instructors will have. So for example, sometimes we'll get people that have certain learning disabilities where they have to be isolated to take a test because they just can't concentrate if there's any noise, like the noise in the class or in the hallway, right? Hard to listen to me when you're hearing all these people walk by. But there are those situations, and a lot of people have disabilities you'd never even know they have a disability. In fact, I'll get notes from some people like, really? I would have never guessed, So there's no shame. We have excellent support services here. They're here to help us. Also, if you guys are looking for a quiet place to study on campus, Learning Success Center is the place to go. They got computers that have all our software loaded on them. They have quiet little cubicles. They even have rooms you can sign out. In fact, when I visit the other campuses and I need a place to work because I don't have an office there, that's where I go. And I just hang out. Sometimes I even hang out at this one down here, knowing that, it's crunch time and there might be people here needing help. So if I do that, I'll put out little announcements for that as well. A lot of standard disclaimer stuff here that you should read through. You guys are all reading this really quick, right? Pause the video, read it very carefully. All right. I want to point out these last few things here. And I think I was kind of mentioning this, but not necessarily in this capacity. There are a lot of support services that Gateway has. Gateway is really a very good technical college compared to many of the ones I've seen in a lot of schools that I've been to, taught at. We have excellent programs. Please look into them. I mean, you can see the ones that are listed here. We have things, like one that you should always check out, especially if you're in a tough spot. And by a tough spot, I mean financially. We have something called the Gateway Foundation. A couple students that were ready to drop out. One just weeks ago, right before the holidays, the bank was going to foreclose on his house. Couldn't pull together a payment, whatever. But we have the Gateway Foundation. They stepped in, kicked in a little bit of money. He was able to make a payment, keep it for another month. But they stepped in and helped. So there's support services here that are really good. Don't be embarrassed to seek them out. Also, if you guys ever have any technology issues, like for example, right before this class started, we're in a new classroom, new computer systems. I might be the very first instructor using this instructor computer, although I'm actually using my laptop. But I wanted to log in anyhow so I could have it as a backup, and I couldn't log in. So I went to this website, supportgtc.edu, and I put in a support ticket. I found the category. It said classroom computers. Can't log in. Typed up a little message, hit the button. Within 15 minutes, the guy is up here fixing it. They are really fast. Now this works at home too, so if let's say you can't get into Blackboard and there's a problem with your email, you don't know, I don't know, pick a topic, you can contact them and they will help you out. Almost all the techs that work at Gateway are Gateway grads. So that's a pretty telling sign. So we hire good people here. They're all top notch if you've ever dealt with any of them. If it's stuff that's related to the actual course and the material, I'm the person you should contact. So if your code is broken, like you're writing a program, don't contact tech support. That's not their job. That's my job to help you with that. The other thing you should know about is what we call a Maxient or incident reporting system that we have here in place, and there's a little link you can click on. Hopefully you'll never be in the situation where you would have to file one of these, but let's say somebody walked into the building with a gun. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not willing that upon us. I'm just saying. If you can, you really jump into the form. Guy with a gun in the building, help. That kind of thing. Or if you had an altercation with somebody, or somebody stole something, or something is broken. There's all different types of incidents that can happen. That's the place you want to go. The other thing that you should probably notate is find in the student handbook the number for security on campus. Here at the Gateway campus, the extension is 6208. They're really quick to respond as well. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the syllabus. And the thing that I need you guys to do here is to go into Blackboard, and I'll show you where it is. And you'll go into the discussion board link here on the left-hand side. And you're going to find the syllabus acknowledgement discussion board. You're going to click on that, and you're going to go in and create a thread. And you can put anything you want in here. Something like that. I just want to know that you saw it, you read it, you understand what's in it, and you're going to work with it. Like I said, you don't have to type what I type, but something like that. Then you just click the submit button, and one piece of business is taken care of. This is gradable too. In this class, I grade you for this, so you have to do it. Right, now, as you guys here in class are taking care of that little step, the other thing I'm going to point you to is back in the Start Here section, I do have this little item that says participate in the Introduce Yourself discussion board and earn some points. So that's something I'd like you guys to do too. And for those of you here in the classroom, you can do that. We're going to go into break real shortly. So you can do it leading into the break, during the break, coming out of the break, whatever. We're going to do some more introduction stuff when we come back from break anyhow, but that's something I want you to do. It's a pretty important step, especially for those of you that are online, because you don't really get to meet your classmates face to face, but they're out there in cyberspace. So what I have you do, if you read those instructions, I guess I should go back a click here, is it says introduce yourself to the class, include your name, how you want to be addressed. So like I like to be addressed as Ty. You know, if your name is, you know, Ezekiel Elliott and you want to be called Zeke, you know, go for it. Whatever it takes. And then what you do or did for a living or pastime or whatever. If you're married, kids, maybe what compelled you to join this program. Just, you know, basically a little information you're willing to share. If it, you don't need to get personal and share more than you want to. I do recommend that you upload an avatar, and I see I got a typo there. And frankly, I prefer that it's an actual picture of you, because when people are interacting in online environments, it's kind of nice to know what the person sort of looks like, you know. And you can also add pictures and videos and links into your posts as well. And I do also ask that you guys go ahead and respond to at least 2 other people that are posting here. Just kind of say, hey, I read your thing. Oh, hey, I'm into motorcycling too. You know, what kind of motorcycle do you have? And just get a conversation going. You might not see the person face to face, but chances are if you guys are starting out the program, you're going to cross paths many times as you go through the program. And it's good to have a network of people that you know. And I would even go as far as like sharing, you know, emails and phone numbers with people if you're open to it. Because if you have a question, sometimes you're maybe a little too embarrassed to ask the teacher. You might want to just ask a friend, what was number 5? How did you do that? Or, you know, what did he really want for that? And that might be a better, you know, line of support for you. So that's a required activity as well. And with that, we basically have finished the Start Here section. We've gone through the syllabus. I'll show you how to post into 2 discussion boards. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to go into the first unit folder where we have our first actual course material we're going to go through. And that we're going to do right after break. So this video ends here, and I will see you guys in the next one.